out what is coming inside of Season of Love, and with this mysterious blue hand teaser looking like it might be ready to emerge this seasonal event, let's delve in a bit more into what that could mean as well today. Last video when we dissected the blue hand teaser, or rather Zarroë's hand, as we dissected inside of that the Ethereal Island Colossal's hand, we deducted that this teaser was most likely Ethereal Gold Island. But today I want to cover a different scenario, because going back to that Ethereal teaser, I think there might be another possibility there, and you guys in the comments also commented that this could be possible as well, and I think it is a valid point, so we do need to dissect it today. Now, recently the monster handlers, when they were describing where Whale went, they described that inside of the Prism Gate they are being drifted towards the void.
The Prism Gate disappeared out from behind it. Instead, we were just staring off into the void. The Prism Gate had been removed as the connected world, and that it was something else that we were looking at.
The void, what on earth does that mean though? And why is Zarroë taking them there and utilizing this? Well, we've seen Zarroë use the Prism Gate as transportation to get amongst the monster world, and whilst they are conducting this new experiment, whatever it may be, Ethereal Gold Island, what we are on about today, whatever it is, they are using the Prism Gate to be able to navigate around and conduct this experiment. And inside of the Prism Gate recently, we were shown towards the outer islands being submerged inside of it, and I do think this is what the void they were talking about, meaning I think it is the space that the outer islands were being stored in after the cataclysm of the continent and all of them getting sucked up. I think that is what it's referencing, and this is important as inside of the void, let's say, there is actually an entrance to the Mirror Act Island timeline, and this was first hinted at, by the way, I should mention, so long ago inside of the Mirror Plant Island bio. It hinted that there may be an entrance to the Mirror timeline in the original timeline as we know it in modern time, right? There may be an entrance, and this is it. What a callback, amazing tie-in here. But this entrance is very key towards the establishing links we have now to the Mirror Islands. Now there's this gateway as well. We have not only all of the factors we have pointed out last time, we have the Mirror Plant Island background in the first teaser, we have Zarroë's use of the Prism Gate and how it literally can access and open up towards the Mirror timeline. And then we also have Zarroë's previous experiments, with that being the attunement structure where you can see the Mirror Islands being used so Zarroë can tap into their instability literally and use them for the ethereal monsters. So this all could mean, right, the whale being dragged off into the void, literally where the portal is to the Mirror Islands and Mirror Plant Islands. It could be meaning that the Ethereals are going there rather than going towards an Ethereal Gold Island. Maybe that isn't Zarroë's experiment. Maybe it isn't that, and maybe Zarroë is taking them somewhere else. This idea, I think, it has a lot of credibility behind it. The Mirror Islands themselves, they were the foundation upon which workshop monsters could be made in the first place. They are already so unstable. They have conditions suited to the Ethereals already. Zarroë wouldn't even really need to make an experiment as such. And honestly, I question their involvement in this as well, because honestly, those habitats are already so suited to those monsters. It's absolutely perfect, to be honest. Even in the Mirror timeline as well, inside of the Ethereals, their lore, it has been established that they are really key characters inside of the lore. We don't necessarily know what role they played in that timeline, but in terms of the cataclysm or whatever event happened that split the continent up apart inside of that timeline, the Ethereals were very much involved. As we literally see as well around the island, we have fauna from all of the Ethereals amongst all of the islands. For example, you have gas orbs, you have geodes crystals all throughout the islands. They resemble the ethereal elements so well, and the Mirror Island designs, they reflect that lore-heavy connection that the Mirror Islands have to the Ethereals. There's already so many links here, and even if we're going back to you guys have always wanted islands dedicated to each of the ethereal elements, right? Like Plasma Island, Poison Island. You guys want that so badly. But what if I were to tell you right now, these Mirror Islands, they could act as substitutes for each of these islands. In fact, fans have literally craved for this for years. This would be perfect. I mean, the island designs too, they are already made for this. place. It feels absolutely perfect. Think Plasma Island for Mirror Plant, Shadow Island for Mirror Cold, Mech for Mirror Air, Crystal, Mirror Water, Poison Island, Mirror Earth. It fits together so harmoniously. It's absolutely beautiful how the islands would reflect this as well, and potential Ethereal Expansion, let's call it, update. And while I would personally absolutely crave and crumb to the sea, crumb, get the crumb in there, croff, rather. But while I would absolutely crave for Ethereal Islands separately like Plasma Island, I think this is the closest that we would get to that. I don't see them actually going out there and making individual ones, even though I would love it because Ethereals, they are everything. I would do anything, but I feel like it's not really a possibility. But this opens the gateway to have a substitute almost for that, and it's really good. I think the linkages that can be made here, just the islands already being so suited towards it, makes a lot of sense, honestly. And with this being an expansion styled update, obviously you'd purchase these Ethereals through the market, potentially giving shards as well another use. I feel like that is something that I would love for shards to have, honestly. Relics, we saw the Fire Expansion monsters finally bring about a use for those, so maybe we could finally see another use for shards besides Tribal Island, because that is everything at the moment that we can use the shards for. So it would be really nice to finally get something outside of that, I would say, as well. With the monsters on this Ethereal Expansion update, though, we now need to consider which Mirror Islands would be best suited for these. Now, you might have noticed I called them Plasma Island just to get you guys' minds running about how these islands might be substitutes for that. But in terms of the monsters that are going to be individually selected if this update was to be true, I think they are going to pick the ones that are most elementally affiliated to each of the islands. So for example, if you have Mirror Plant, you are going to choose the most plasma affiliated monsters, Mirror Cold, the more shadow ones, and then so forth and so on. So the monsters that align best are going to be selected, but there are 31 ethereal monsters therefore, and if we don't include our single element ethereals that are already there, brings it down to 26. Bemeebeth, I'm not sure if they would include Bemeebeth. It feels like it would maybe suit Mirror Air the most, but you guys know how Mirror Air is, and I'm not going there. I think that it would be a case where Bemeebeth might actually be excluded from this. R.I.P. Bemeebeth, I'm so sorry, but I feel like it's either you go on one island, which is Mirror Air, or you don't come at all, or you go on them all. And I do not see all, so I go with none. And that pains me so, but I have to theorize here. So that brings it down to 25 monsters. Now, 25 monsters, that means 5 new ethereal monsters on each of the Mirror Islands. So now I've conducted a list of monsters that I feel like would be best suited to each of the islands, bearing in mind the song theming and also balancing out where the workshoppers are and versus the ethereal island monsters as well, right? So let's go ahead with my list right now. So I've got Mirror Plant Island, Ghast, Whale, Socks, Oraculele, Gadzooks, and Gelbilly, Mirror Cold, Grumpire, Pentumbra, Voodoo, Wisp, Nightbear, Blaret, Mirror Air, Rebro, Vention, Titatot, Tutti Frutti, Orgler, Urique, Nebelop, Mirror Water, Geode, Rizmithin, Tam, Meebkin, Bellowfish, Flask, Fung Prey, Mirror Earth, Humbug, Oogide, Dragon, Pitplash, Kaziligan. I couldn't help saying it through when I read that. I didn't even mean to. Anyway, I have sorted these based on theming and spreading them out like we've been over. But now let's go over in terms of how these would work, what I'm feeling inside of my brain. When I look at this list, right, I get the feeling as though the quad elemental workshoppers, they fit the islands so well. They already just basically enhancements right on the single element monsters. They are boosted up versions almost of that. They suit the islands already so well. I mean, come on, you've got the theme going already of air and whatnot. They link really well, right? But then when I go down to the triple element workshoppers, I find that they don't really fit the islands, and honestly it gets my mind running at how exactly this would work. I think this is mainly why I feel like Ethereal Gold Island is a much more likable situation inside of all of this, especially, well, we'll come to that conclusion later when we've dissected this update theory here, but when I'm looking at this list, I seriously can't really fathom how these triple element ethereals would even work in some cases on these islands. They don't feel very well suited to them. But then when I look at the double element ones, I also go, oh, those fit as well. So It's a bit of a mismatch situation here. I feel like they would need to do some zany things for the triple elementals, though, in particular, to get those up on the rise to make them feel like they fit inside of these songs. Now, the big argument, though, that proposes itself, like it just slotted in right there, is would this be a worthwhile update? Should the Ethereals come to the Mirror Natural Islands exclusively? You might be thinking, MPG, why can't they come to the Natural Islands? The Natural Island songs, they are so full already. They are actually complete. The monster handlers have been confirmed, the Natural Islands, right? They pretty much are a complete state. With the full, they've got loads of monsters, and therefore it would be the case that these Ethereals would only be Mirror Island exclusive monsters. So we need to bear that all in mind now and look at the situation and go, is this something that the game would benefit from? The Mirror Natural Islands were not executed very well. I think anonymously across the community, we can all agree that the Mirror Islands, the natural ones, could have been better, right? Especially Mirror Air Island. There's lots of choices inside of these songs that make you raise your eyebrows. They feel disjointed and sporadic is a really good phrasing to say. Monster's only playing certain verses, and it feels like most of the time they are duets and trios stringed together. That is the best phrasing that I can come up with to determine how these Mirror Islands make me feel. I mean, when I'm comparing them to the original remixed versions of these islands that were on Spotify, Apple Music and whatnot that they put out originally all them years ago, they were so much better than what we got in game.
Everything here is alive. Everything here is alive. Every monster knows.
And man, it absolutely pains me that we did not get them versions, because those were so much better. You guys have got to go and check them out if you haven't already. They're up on YouTube, I'm sure. I believe they're took down now, but you can just go and watch them, and my goodness, guys, they were so much better. But if we are to have an Ethereal Expansion update, it brings into question now, how are they going to situate that in and make these songs feel whole? Because if they bring about such a major update to the game and the songs themselves aren't radicalized upon or even have a heavy radicalization and change, it's not going to feel good, I do feel. We've had such an anticipation and build towards this as well. It feels like if these were to come, we'd honestly need such a harsh decision here. And when I'm looking at the composer as well behind this, they revealed inside of behind the scenes, basically, the composer, they had worked really extensively on these remixes to bring them to life.
To add more variety to your experience in the monster world, our talented Monster Handler sound team has created new musical arrangements for the Mirror Islands.
Hearing all of that as well, it makes me think that they would not go about doing that, and that this could not work out in the way where it would be beneficial to all members of the community. And also, I think most importantly, what I'm trying to establish, not even just on the community end in reception, but just as a whole, the update and what it would do for the game. We need that big moment, and I feel like Ethereal Gold Island is really what I'm looking at in providing that. But let's go over why it should come now, though, right? The Mirror Magical Islands, we saw them be fixed. We saw them come to life inside of the game. Even though the Mirror Naturals, when they first came, they were not good. We got the Mirror Magicals and they turned out to be absolutely splendid, honestly. Some people even like them even more than the original mixes of the songs, which I think is just exceptional and exactly what the Mirror Island should be, especially with the paranormals coming out. It feels like they are turning out into so much wonderful songs, and you can see the reason why the Mirror Islands were turned into like they were now. But when I'm reflecting on the Mirror Natural Islands, I think that because the islands themselves, they are so sporadic, it would bring them a moment to shine if we got the Ethereals inside of here. It's always felt so oddly structured, and finally we'd have maybe a bit of an incline and reason towards why that might have happened to. Maybe some Ethereals are going to come along, and then it would make these songs feel so special and whole. I think it would give people another expansion update that they've been craving for as well. I've seen so many speculation theories out there about future expansion updates, wobbling expansion, celestial expansion. You guys want every expansion, and yo, this is the most likely expansion you guys are gonna get. With the expansion updates, they're so hard to implement because of the fundamental changes that they bring about to the game. It's almost like a game-wrecking nature that it does, because you are determining the future behind these islands, and you may have to say no to future classes, monsters, plans to bring about this kind of an update. And it feels like it deeply alters the islands themselves and their future. If we do get another expansion update, this is the one that would be the most likely. But then if we adventure back now to why not, I feel like going just back again to how they're poorly composed, I don't feel like we're going to feel the impact behind these songs unless we do see this major revamp. And this update is not going to feel whole without that revamp. I think they are hesitant and would not do the revamp though, as they have established how much pride they feel within these songs, and maybe our opinions don't reflect what the developers have felt. And also that people have put a lot of time into this, and I think it may be best both ways if we just don't do this for everyone involved, because it feels like to me the developers, the composers, they have put a lot of time into establishing these songs, and then we also have the community, right? The community doesn't like them as much. It feels like we just kind of need to leave this be now, almost, in a sense. The Paranormals, they got it so right, and the Mirror Magicals. I think it's time to say maybe to move on from this idea though, just based on that. I think Ethereal Gold Island is the most likely. It is the best of both worlds. It's literally best for the game as well, but you can't deny either how fun this idea would be. Just the idea of bringing these islands, these single element ethereal islands to the game as a substitute almost on the Mirror Islands, it is so fun. And regardless, even if it is this, I would be so excited as well. I mean, the quads, getting them a chance to shine and everything on this, it would be really cool. But you can't deny either, there would be some flaws inside of this update, I do think. But let's move on now onto what else you guys can expect, because inside of the Season of Love, every single time we have got a new Rare Dream Mythical. And inside of the Season of Love, we can't get Epic Yoshis this time. We've already got them, right? But we can get Rare Sporerow, and we are going to get them. Now, thanks to Rare Bleaknik, it's wonderful Bleats of the Nyx, we have clues for what to expect this time too. Rare Bleaknik revealed inside of his bio that the Rare Dream Mythicals are going to be based on the fan perceptions behind the original Mythicals themselves, because people have felt like they look like they belong on different islands for a long time. So, for example, we had Gajube, which looks like it should be on Cold Island, and then we have Yarstridge, and Yarstridge looks like it is going to be on Earth Island. So, like how Rare Bleaknik was based on Cold Island because of that, we are going to have this time an Earth Island themed Rare Sporerow. And actually, I want to throw Rare Bleaknik once more again. You guys, if you look at the colors here, you might notice that, I know we're talking about the Mirror Islands a lot today, right? But the Mirror Cold Island, its colors is basically what Rare Bleaknik is based on, right? We've got the purples in there. So to fit with this mirror theme even more, I mean, we've got Mirror Island updates abound here and theming and whatnot. Why don't we throw that in there with Rare Sporerow too? I think that would be really awesome. So with this monster, we could take the reds and yellows from this, especially from the island sky. I think you get a lot of a feel for what Rare Sporerow could end up looking like. I mean, the mushrooms, right? The mushrooms! Because it's going to be based on Earth Island and Fire. I mean, come on, it's going to be poisonous mushrooms. You're going to Mirror Earth Island, you got to have the poisonous mushrooms, okay? So prepare for the Mario Unseen Fire power-up. It's going to go... Look, the fireballs are coming out of this dude. It's got so many Mario power-ups. I am so jealous right now. I think the poisonous mushrooms, come on, they're coming. You know they're all coming. Reds, yellows, a scorched body, glowing eyes, and a cracked obsidian beacon claws. Oh, obsidian. Get that in there. I'm so excited already, yo. Anyway, let's have a look at MGPedro's design. They've gotten glitz and glam. Oh, Shazam design. I don't know either. We've got a beak here. It looks like an eagle that they've themed it as almost. I love how it's got even Prism Gate like drawings on here. It looks very Galaxy themed, honestly. Oh my goodness. Absolutely befitting of an Ethereal update to come along with. Come on, Ethereal update with Season of Love now. Come on. It's been months. Come on, we're ready. All right, anyway, let's move on to our next thing that's going to be coming. So, as all of us Amber Island vessels, they are going to be expiring as well on Wednesday. So, it's time for our next Epic Fire. And following the Amber Island vessel schedule and their availability, Epic Krillby is going to be his next one. And maybe this time it is not going to be themed on Pokemon. Look, right, I am looking at Alolan Marowak and I am looking at Rare Krillby, and honestly, I do not see a difference. So I don't think it's going to be Pokemon themed this time. Maybe. Epic Elmo, it was such a big change. I am feeling with this one so much that this class it has the chance, these epics, to be really awesome, especially the Quints when we get to those. But the Epic Krillby, I want it to be on the level of Epic Elmo. It felt like it was so cool, but to do this, I think it would be cool to harken back to what Krillby is based on. Krillby is based on a krill, one of these cute little fishy transparent like ones, because we already have the red like one being embraced on the design, and then we have the Bilby, which is a lesser known thing, but oh my goodness, these are absolutely adorable. They're like rabbits. Okay, yo, if this comes into the actual thing, I will nickname him Bill Boy. Wow, look, Billy's proud, Bill Boy, just amazing. Dumbo Krillby, that is what everything that I am here for. Large ears, oh my goodness. A shell more encompass, like to a krill, the jelly-like clearness behind it. A bit like to Epic Elmo, honestly, but more jelly. Substituting towards these designs, one of these animals would be absolutely marvelous, or even both, like I was suggesting there. But let's have a look at RockyTheRepatillo's design then. So Rocky's come up with a more crustacean, crab-like design. Honestly, I'm feeling the vibe, yo. We've got a purple seashell at the back of it. Reminds me of Prismatic Candelabra, this one. Multiple eyes, a huge change, I will add, towards the original design. If it actually did change this much, I mean, I just want the epic, mythical, unique image. I know, I know. I can't help it. I mean, you spoil me once, I want to be spoiled every time, yo. But I feel like that would be cool, yo. Anyway, moving on before we go over another teaser that we have. So Epic Dragon, right, it might have eluded us. It didn't come in Festival V, it came a little bit later. But this time, I am doubling down. I think Epic Fung is going to be coming inside of the Season of Love because it is perfect for it. Fung and Season of Love feel like they were meant to be. And this is actually going to be our final Epic Ethereal as well. Oh my goodness. Ethereal Epic box is on the way, boys. Each Epic Ethereal, it feels like as well so far, it has been a much more biological version of that monster. It has really revealed the underbelly of that design. For example, you have Wisp, and then you get this more biological version of them. It feels like they really tear away the skin of these monsters almost. So with Epic Fung, let's think on a biological level what we can expect from this. A harsh tree bark texture, as it's a plant, almost, isn't it? A large fungal mushroom and spore particles coming from it. Befitting to come along with Sporerow, honestly, this one. And withered tree arms to reveal the underbelly of Fung like all of his other Epic Ethereals do. But when I'm looking at this, I've actually discussed this before, but I really want them to go back to the Fung concept art. This is a perfect example of exactly what they do with the Epic Ethereals. They take them away, they make them more biological, and this concept art, it strives to do just that, and I think it is absolutely the perfect time to bring this back, babe. It is a wonderful piece of concept art, and what an amazing way we could end our Epic Ethereals on as well. I really want this back. It's a nostalgia for me, baby. But let's look at Guinami's design. Guinami's come up with a magical sanctum themed Fung prey. I will admit, this one is so colorful and dynamic. I love this. I love the horns coming from it too. I really hope they do something unique with the mushroom alike to what you've done on the top. It feels like you've got so majestic, especially with the third towards the bottom. It feels like it would be so uncanny for an epic ethereal to come out like this. It feels like they're almost, instead of revealing the underbelly, they are clamoring up. They are gearing up with the fashion inside of this one. It's really cool. And then if we go on to GalaxySkybot's design, I want to throw this up because they have nailed the concept art behind this. Major bravo to them. They have nailed basically what I would expect from epic Fung prey. I can't wait to see how they do them up inside of the traditional MSM art style. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing behind this. I would honestly be surprised if it's not based on the concept art. It's just too much of a good chance at MSM. They take every bit of a chance they can get in just making the community so happy. So I feel like this is quite a likely one, guys. Anyway, moving on to the seasonal scam. I'm just calling it what I feel. I can't. Right, anyway. Seasonal snacks, right? We were revealed towards 2 more. So we have the box of chocolates and the spaghetti dinner. I mean, the prices behind these things for Crescendo Moon, apparently with each event, we are going to have a unique perspective on each one of these foods. So the Crescendo Moon ones, they were supposed to be based on time, the faster. But I think the thing is, with these, I understand that you're trying to do something unique here, but I think there is only one perspective to be seen amongst fans. If you raise the price and then the food is the same, fans are going to call it a seasonal scam. But when it comes to, for example, Feastember, where we might get more food, people are going to love it, right? But there's only so much mechanically you can do to make these unique inside of events. I think what would be honestly amazing inside of this is to go, hey, these are limited time foods. You can get more food inside of this limited time by cooking these foods. That would actually make me go, I want to cook these. Other than that though, at the moment I find them a bit pointless, I'm not going to lie. I think that harnessing the fact that maybe you could get more food when these are available would be very intuitive into making players want to actually cook them and be interested in them. I hope that they do look at this again. But anyway, let's move on to costumes. I feel like I'm so down to I am so sorry. I am wanting Ethereal Gold Island. I think you all are. Anyway, moving on to the Airhead promotion. We have two. Yes, you sneaky Congo. See that face? 2 costumes at the back here. We have one towards the right, which looks like it might be wearing a mustache or sunglasses in the middle with a hat almost, and then to the left, a costume that seems to be pairing with it. Now, my theory is amongst these costumes is that, seen as though in Mind Boggle, for example, we had the unique perspective of these coming from fairy tales, something that's always been a part of Season of Love is pairing monsters together. For example, inside of the promotions, they put 2 rares together, and on socials they conduct a social media posts to say, oh, who is this pair that are together and whatnot. But anyway, inside of this, I think we are going to see from now on maybe pairings of costumes. I'm not sure why there's the Dawn of Fire teleporter background there. That feels really weird. I feel like that is getting lots of people to think this is something else, and that confuses me very, very much. I mean, I would love a Dawn of Fire costume, maybe. But I don't know what else this is theorizing, because it does not seem to be a major update. I mean, this takes me back to when Fire Expansion was teased, though. I wish it was something big, but I think it's just pairings of costumes and to fit the Season of Love event. Anyway, let me know what you are most excited for down below. Do you want Ethereal Expansion, or are you just craving, frothing, and wanting Ethereal Gold Island like I am? Because I know I desperately am. Now, you might wonder where I am. I'm actually on vacation right now. I'm planning to go traveling maybe a lot this year, so maybe this will become the norm. I'll actually bring my camera though, if I do that. Don't worry, you're not going to be in low quality all the time. But life update, I went on holiday. I've actually not took a break from this in like ever. I'm working on MPG stuff 24/7, but actually in the past week I have taken some time to myself, and I feel like it's helped with my well-being a lot. I didn't realize that I think I need to differentiate up sometimes how I use my time. So I'm going to be trying to do that from now on. But I'm also so happy to be back because I've missed you. I've missed you so much. I love you all, and I'm so lucky and privileged, and I just needed to tell you that today. So I love you. I love you. Make sure to comment though, because I genuinely am interested as always in you guys' opinions. Okay, bye.